Morning, everybody. I'm Stacy with Stacy's Organizing and Decorating for Life. I'm here to help you organize your thoughts and decorate your perspectives. So today our topic is about getting into alignment. Remember, alignment is not confinement. This is how we start making decisions and choices that resonate with what we want to create. So if you like that that's our topic today, please hit the like and subscribe button below. Now, this is my baby Grinch. He thinks he's the narrator and director. We'll see how long this lasts. Okay. So before we get started, I want to welcome you back if you attend this channel or, play, whatever you do. Some people play it in the car on the way to work. Some people watch it, in their spare time. Some people binge watch on weekends. I just thank you very much for your time. I love and appreciate you very much for, being dedicated and for supporting me that way and supporting this channel that way. So thank you. If you're new to this channel, I want you to know that I'm not a doctor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a scientist, any of those things, but I may share with you along those lines because I love those things. And if it helps me, I think it might help you too. What I am is a life coach, though, and I have a webpage called stacyforlife.com. On this webpage, I write a monthly blog, so I invite you to check that out. But also there's a description of the services that I provide as a life coach. Really it's about going within to feel comfortable in your own skin and digging that stuff up off of your soul so you can grow. Most people want to create, or desire healing and healthy relationships as well as spiritual and soul development. And I try to help you with that, okay? So again, look me up at stacyforlife.com. Let's get into the topic today about alignment not being confinement. There's so much freedom when we get into alignment. Freedom, when we have freedom, we have peace in our life. But how do we create that? Okay, so how do we create that? Part of how we create that is, like last week's video, we talked about regulating, and then we did some meditating. So that gets us into our body, so we don't reach out for outside sources to make us help us feel comfort. We talked about the reward system, that originally the reward system is about being able to grow ourselves and be able to help others. And that's really quite rewarding for anybody who works in that kind of way. Through media and other avenues, we've been programmed to think differently. So we reprogram ourselves. Sometimes we may feel defeated because we may feel like we can't create these dreams, goals, and desires because of the obstacles that pop up in our lives, So that comes again once we get into the regulating, because when we regulate, we'll know our own creativity, we'll know our own dreams, goals, and desires, because sometimes we've been living out others' dreams, goals, and desires. We've allowed their input to devalue us or make us feel something else. So that is not being in alignment with yourself, selves, and soul. And so we want to be grounded. And how we got grounded last week was through that regulating and meditating. But it takes some work. We look sometimes at our words, actions, and deeds, and those come from our past, our emotional health, what we see with our eyes. When we did the regulating and meditating last week, we covered our eyes so that we could understand and give our eyes a break to see something in a different light. Gather new perspectives on what we're seeing that's going to be more beneficial to our soul health, which expands into our emotional health and physical health. So the things that we want to do, I am reading this morning because I'm trying to get through this, and I wrote it out yesterday. I've made some changes to get into alignment myself. And so, that's the thing, is when we make changes, we adjust and adapt. And it's all about that practice and development, adjusting and adapting, and giving ourselves a break, because it takes a little time. It doesn't just, and that's the thing, is a lot of people give up on their dreams, goals, and desires because of the time that it takes. But when we can get into our bodies, we can experience the adventure of the time that it takes through that practice and development and adjusting and adapting to this. So there's some questions that, to get yourself into alignment, and see if this video is even for you, or are you living in peace? Are you lonely? Are we lonely? These are things we can ask ourselves. Do we live in harmony? Or is our job fulfilling? These are questions we can ask ourselves. Most of us want to create peace and harmony. Here's the thing, though, is we have to create peace and harmony from our own free will. We can't create peace and harmony from others' free will. So it's getting started into that, and that is when we get into alignment. Is, like I said, not everybody's going to be on your team. So we're going to, if we're in our bodies, we know who is on our team. We're not desperately seeking people outside of ourselves to make us feel validated, make us feel regulated. Because when we learn to regulate and comfort ourselves, we know what it is we want and where we need to go to get what we want. So that's what this video is about today. Oftentimes we pray. We pray for things and we just sit there and wait for the miracles to happen. But what we do to get in alignment is alignment with our words, actions, and deeds. Is what we're saying in alignment with what we're doing. And is what we're doing in alignment with what we're serving. So all of these things add up and they create that success that we've seen our heroes have, because this is what they did to get what they got. So, as I said before, we need to ask ourselves, those questions to get in alignment, because we know we are in alignment when, our health, our physical health is in good health, that, it's not compromised. Now, some of us have genetic situations. I'm not a doctor, as I said before, so, I don't like to get too much into physical health, but, I've talked in a few other videos about Dr. Gabor Mate and about, Dr. Bruce D. Perry and Oprah Winfrey, and the book that I read, What Happened to You, by them, as well as, The Wisdom of Trauma by Dr. Gabor Mate. And what those talk about are the childhood traumas, though they may be in different ways. So sometimes these childhood traumas can extend into our physical health. Is it genetic, or is it, from being in that environment? I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you, but those doctors can kind of give you some insight into your journey, into your own selves, and soul. Then we get into our actions. Are they in alignment with what our words say? So if you've stated your dreams and goals and visions, have you done what you need to do that? And starting with those little things. And first, it's about getting your ego out of the way, and we worked with your solar plex chakra last week about, getting our intentions aligned with our soul, our ego and intentions aligned with our soul. So, it's about, after we formulate our words, we put those actions forth, because then what that creates is we get into acceptance that, peace isn't always about everything being perfect around us, and when we get into accepting doesn't mean subjecting. So acceptance is just being able to be in our bodies and not distract ourselves, and seeing what we're really feeling, what we're dealing with, and how we can make the decision and choices that are going to provide us that alignment. And so we can do it peacefully, because then we understand through the peace of acceptance that what is for us, what isn't for us, and it's okay if it's not for somebody else. And we don't have to play this thing to where we get on these opposing teams. We get to find our team that is going to love and support us. So those people know, after we've worked on our past, because when I talked about when we covered our eyes last week, we also, hugged our subconscious, because a lot of the ideas that we see with our eyes come from the subconscious. There's so much, things inside of our brain, so many layers inside of our brain, not just things. There's layers inside of our brain, as this book by Dr. Bruce D. Perry shows, is that, and how we process what we're seeing on the outside, inside, and so this is where we talk about our energy and our vibration. Once we've processed some of this trauma and go through this healing, then we start attracting to us these things when we look at our past. A lot of people don't want to look at their past. So I have to ask you, now that you're grown up, are you just making decisions and choices opposite of those that, of your parents? And that's good that it's decision and choices. However, it's not healing. Healing is that development through your heart and soul, so that you can have that divine connection with other hearts and souls, because that's raising your energy and raising your vibration. And, you don't want to be distracted from yourself, cells, and soul. So in order to heal, so you can grow, right? So once you have that energy level, when you state your words, people know that you're serious once you've done this work, and you can look them in the eyes and state what it is that you want, need, and desire. Then other people can ask you the questions, have you done this, without you backing down and feeling defeated. You know, that's happened with me with the coaching business. As I had a dear friend who, you know, she said, well, what's your niche, Stacy? What is this? What makes you, you know, so it is that I organize thoughts and decorate perspectives. It was actually a client that I had physically organized and decorated for, you know, so we never know where these little seeds are going to come from that help us grow. And it's about that being open. And when we do this healing work, we're not feeling like people are picking on us when they ask us these frank questions. We're able to really think and say, what is it, you know? And a lot of times I know people feel bad for putting little seeds in my brain, you know, because they can see me looking puzzled and everything else. But I love it because I grow from that. Because if they put a seed in my brain, then I will study that. So this is how we grow, and this is how we create our dreams, goals, and desires. And this is how, you know, we expand. So in last week's video and at the beginning of this week's video, I talked about rewards and how the rewards are really, you know, not to be a distraction from things, or not to, you know, it's actually for our practice and from our practice and development. So the rewards, because we get to share that with other people, and in this time, human connection is so desired. People desire people with that same energy field and energy level as many people were confined, right? So remember, I said alignment is not confinement, just like a while ago. So how do we get into that, you know? And I am reading from my notes somewhat, so please forgive me. So when we work together and help each other achieve our goals, you know, when you state it out loud, like when somebody asks me a question, I have to grow, because people are going to ask you questions, you know, that you need to know. So when we look at our how are we doing this, you know, our what do we want? You know, are we speaking it out? So this is done with our words. So you have to speak it. It's done with our actions. So we have to do it. It's done with our, you know, our deeds. So we need to see what we want to do. We need to succeed to help others succeed too, you know. So how are we doing that? So I ask you, you know, once again, are you living in peace? Describe peace. Are you lonely? You know, let down your guard, let down your walls, and just say hello to somebody. But work on boundaries, learn boundaries, you know, so that boundaries are not walls. You know, boundaries are just you being in alignment, once again, with yourself. What do you want? Not saying yes when you mean no. You know, and does your job have fulfillment? When you regulate what you really want to do, you're able to take action and to prepare. So do you have harmony? We have to have harmony. Do we have harmony? We have to have harmony to create harmony. We can live in noisy situations and still have harmony, but we cannot live in toxic situations. We cannot work in toxic places, and we cannot, you know, carry out toxic friendships and still have harmony. You know, this is not in alignment. So it comes from the inside, and how we choose to connect, for the most part, starting to trust our higher power, divine source, vital life force, also known as God. You know, to being connected to conscious, to being connected to our dreams and goals and visions, and that consciousness and desires, that which is within. Then we can use our words to create it, starting with prayer, at the least our intent if you don't pray. You know, so then even using our free will is empowering through our words. We seek, we practice, and develop from where we have been to where we are going. And it's not to be hurriedly, though we try. I know I've tried. Once we decide what I want it right now. But that's where the practice and development comes in. Okay? And then we know okay, this is the deal. Once we do the practice and development, this is the thing. This is why many people are confined, because you have to do that practice and development. Because once you do that practice and development, you get into gratitude for where you are at now. And once you get into gratitude for where you are at now, you can't help but want to share that stuff. That's why so many people do these videos, because they want to help other people. They want to share what they've learned, you know. So once we get there, we know the struggle, you know, and so we want to help somebody else. And we continue to grow. It doesn't mean because you overcome one struggle, you don't overcome another, but it helps you grow your struggle muscles to be able to overcome those things, because we do find peace. There is peace in between. Then there may be an obstacle, and then we have to get into acceptance of the obstacle. We may not like the obstacle at first, but when we get into acceptance of the obstacle, then we can find another solution. And finding solutions is what helps us develop esteem to be able to continue to live, love, learn, and grow. You know, all be divinely connected from our souls, because people do. When you find that people are not helping you, if you're asking for help all the time, but you're not putting forth actions, then people won't want to help you, you know. So people are good typically, but it's about being in that energetic vibration of, you know, attracting those people into your life. So when I talk about accepting is not subjecting. Probably next week's video is going to be about how we can allow people to practice and develop their own relationship with their higher power or source or whoever it is, because that's how we grow, is because we need a support system. And we need somebody to speak to in private, and that's our own relationship that we build with whoever our source is that entity, that vital life force within us that controls all these functions that we talked about in last week's video, that helps us to be healthy, wealthy, and wise, and blessed beyond measure from the ground to the skies. You know, that's what it is being in alignment with that. And sometimes we all fall out of alignment, but we get to adjust and adapt to what it is that we need. We really want to create our dreams, goals, and desires, and we continue to grow those. We have talents, but these talents are meant to be, you know, continue to be spent, because we develop talents upon more talents, and that's how we practice and develop things. So once we extend, you know, and are able to speak those words and start doing those actions, and we speak that out loud, that consciousness, the universe begins to open doors where there were only windows. But it has to be, you have to have the patience and faith, as they say, you know, to be able to wait. It's not going to come immediately, possibly. I know for me it hasn't. And for many of my heroes, when I read their stories and the struggles that they've had, you know, it's like, no, they didn't just say, I want to do this, and it just, ba-bam. There is magic in this universe, though, but it's still practiced and developed, you know. Magic, mystery, and miracles, you have to believe in them to receive them, though. And just because it doesn't happen overnight or in a week or in a month doesn't mean, because that's your time of practice and development. So you can feel confident and convicted when you're asked a question about what it is you want to succeed at, that you definitely know how you got there and what you're doing to create credibility. But for many of us, creating relies on a power greater than ourselves. And, you know, once we speak those words, actions, and deeds, you know, and start practicing the deeds, then there's these angels in skin, and stuff just starts happening, and we don't know when. And that's what a miracle is. See, a miracle is not an entitlement, although it is, you know, when we deal with these polarities. But it's an entitlement that you have strived for, you know, and so that you've aligned yourself with, not necessarily strive, because when you're in alignment, it can, you know, there are days when you strive, but for the most part, we get to continue to find that peace and knowing that it's going somewhere, being able to start creating and imagining and visualizing where it is we want to go. We have to see, you know, practice those steps to get there. We don't go from the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill without taking the walk and panting and, you know, being out of breath and all of that. So that's the same way that we create our dreams and goals and visions. Yes, Grinch, we're almost done. So as we're doing this, oftentimes we talk to our higher power. And then when we get comfortable talking to our higher power, then we feel more comfortable talking to people. That gives us that courage. That's where I get my courage anyway. And then we're able to talk to people. And then once we talk to people, so we're talking, it's the words, and then it's the actions. The people tell us, like I said before, they ask us these questions, and we don't back down. We just reflect and say, oh, and not everybody. You want to make sure you're talking to people who have your best interest at heart, people who are succeeding themselves, and you want to know how they did it and the way that you need to go about it, because they will ask you the questions about this and that, and they're not asking you to be mean to you or to put you down. They're asking you because they want to know where you're going with it. And once you can start looking at these questions and providing the answers to these questions, they know that that's your action. So then it gets into the deeds, because you can't help when your words and actions align up that you're going to succeed. And then once you succeed, the reward is in practicing those deeds. That's where the reward is those little seeds that you too get to plant from those people who planted the seeds in you, and so it's being able to step up and have that courage through your higher power, source, vital life force, whoever you choose it to be, because your relationship is your relationship and it's intimate. See, that's what we learn when we don't rely on other people. You have this vital life force, you have this source that has given you your life, that gives you your health, that you can ask to help you with your emotions, that you can then ask to help you, to heal from your past once you start even recognizing your own emotions and not burying them with these negative or these dysregulated reward systems or the excesses and that entitlement that we talked about is, what do we really need, to be happy? You won't need as much to be happy once you are able to get into alignment with your self, cells, and soul. So I hope that this video has been helpful, and I thank you for your patience with it. Next week's video will be more on time. I have made some changes in my life to be in more alignment with my self, cells, and soul too. So I am, like I said in the beginning of the video, in the adjusting and adapting phase of this. But the next video is probably going to be about how not being codependent. I've worked with many people on codependence, and we talk about how we don't just rescue people anymore, that we allow them, we have faith that they can grow like we did, because we want to help people succeed. So when I say that we act out in our words, actions, and deeds, the reason I'm going into that next week is because it's not to be codependent, and just help people and help people and help people without them having the words, without them having the actions. And I'm not saying that they have to, what is the word I'm looking for? You know the word I'm looking for. What is it? Put it in the comments below. Earn. That's what I'm saying. Earn. But maybe it is. Okay? So, did you put it in the comments below before I spit the word out? Okay, I'm just curious. But anyway, it's about letting them and praying for them, not judging them when they're struggling. We don't judge people when they're struggling. But what we do is we allow them to get that relationship with their higher power, like whatever we did, to be able to be where we are, to where we could help another person. Sometimes we have to allow people to develop that relationship with their higher power so that it will empower them and give them that esteem that I talked about earlier. Through taking the action will give them that esteem, so that their words, actions, and deeds are in alignment, so that they can get into practice and development. Because once they get that relationship with the higher power, number one, their action will be that practice and development. And then after they succeed with that practice and development and aligning their words and actions, they will get to share those deeds too, just like the person that shared them with them, just like I get to do with you. So I hope, again, that this video has been helpful. I'm going to close it with, some people may feel awkward with prayer. They may not know how to pray. They may say the same prayers, over and over at night, But there's this book. I like to share these things, Marianne Williamson's Illuminata. And there's a prayer that I say. So I'm going to share that with you here in closing, so that it helps you in some sort of way. Okay? All right. Once again, I have 4:45 in the morning hair, although it's probably after 4:45 now. But it says, this is a prayer for myself and Marianne Williamson's book, Illuminata. It's on page 185. It says, Dearly beloved God, in whom I lay my trust. You can substitute the word God if you're not comfortable with that. Please give me new life. Fill every cell of my being. Transform each thought. Cleanse every heartbeat, that I might be as you would have me be. Take away the darkness of my past. Fill with me your blessing and graciousness. Allow me rebirth from the many deaths I have endured in this life. Let's substitute the word God for love in this one. Dear love, I have been through the wars. Where I have been weak, please make me strong. Where I perceive myself as guilty, please show me my innocence. Where I block my healing or full fulfillment or full experience of love and joy, please show me my wound and take from me its sting. May I experience the beauty, the abundance, the power, and the joy that is your wish for all mankind, that I might be a vessel for these things in the lives of others. The wicked in myself and others has tormented me. Please cast away that darkness from my life. I know yours is the power. I know yours are the holy truths, the currents of love and power that remain. And so I ask, dear peace, please remove the burdens of my heart. Cast out the demons from my mind and my environs. May I see the light at the center of my being. I believe in your power within me. I know it is there. Dear God, please help me find it. Dear Source, please help me find it. I have faith in your light. Please show it to me that I might give up the fight to be anything other than who I am. May I fly with the angels and sing with the angels and know the angels in myself and others. Henceforth and forever, as you have promised, please hold my hand. Please take me home. Please move me forward. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen. So I hope that prayer would be helpful for you. I know for me, I have used this prayer. It's not something I say every night. You can say it every night, but it is something that has helped me along the way. So again, if you want to look it up, you can probably find it on the internet. I don't know, the prayer for myself. Prayer for myself. And I know some people have been taught you can't pray for yourself, but when I'm working with people, I teach them you can pray for yourself, because yourself extends to others. It's that energy field that you want to create. So again, I hope that this video has been helpful. I thank you very much for your patience with this video. And if you have any ideas or suggestions for future videos, or you would like to reach out to me in some sort of way, please feel free. I have 2 email addresses. One just for reaching out in this kind of way is stacyrenee4life@gmail.com. And then there's another one. I appreciate all of you who support and share these videos, and I also appreciate all of you who support and support me as well in creating these videos. And some of that is just through sharing, like I said. Some of that's just through the watching, liking, and subscribing. But also there are some, and I'm very, very grateful for you, who share, monetarily. And you can do that through PayPal, and that email for that is stacyreineck@gmail.com. Or does it go this way? Anyway, that email is stacyreineck@gmail.com. And again, you can reach out to me that way too. If you want to book a session or anything else with me, or just ask me questions and I can contact you back. Okay? All right. Well, I thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it. I know your time is valuable, so I love and appreciate you too, and I wish you much peace. Yeah. And love. And until next week, I'll see you then. Thank you so much. Bye.